To discuss reinstating a police chief ends with the local city council dumping its entire police force.
The Varnell City Council has voted to dissolve its police department. Now, people in the small city in Whitfield County, Georgia, are wondering who will handle police duties.
Alana LaFleur shows us what's next for Varnell.
3 of Varnell's 4 city council members voted to get rid of the police department. The one who didn't said they needed more time to plan things out and get input from residents. For 5 years, Chris Clark was proud to put on his Varnell Police Department uniform.
Just absolute disbelief. Never would have expected something like this to happen.
Today, the city's manager told him to turn in his equipment, an emotional moment for Clark.
You don't find this type of environment in law enforcement very often, where you have the type of relationship with the citizens.
Clark is one of about 10 officers out of a job after the Varnell City Council voted to dissolve the police department. It happened moments after the city reinstated Chief Lyle Grant after a suspension.
The political purposes behind it, I'm not sure on all of them, but I'm sure they'll eventually come out.
The decision came unexpectedly when council member Jan Pourquoi made a motion to get rid of the entire department, saying it was a tax burden and not a personal issue with the chief. Pourquoi says the recent delay in the arrest of a city councilman is the catalyst for the decision, but the debate about getting rid of the department has been brewing for years.
Kind of sparked that debate within the city council real fast, and I felt this was the right moment to go forward with it. And at some time you have to cut to the chase and make a decision.
The Whitfield County Sheriff's Office already covers Varnell and will continue to do so after today's vote. Sheriff Scott Chitwood just found out this morning about the change, but says he's ready for the response.
We don't anticipate a major workload at all. We don't anticipate a major call volume that Varnell has always handled. You know, we have the coverage. We've always done it, and we'll continue to do it.
In a mostly empty room at the 8 a.m. city council meeting, one resident spoke out against the motion that had no public input other than his outcry.
Absolutely appalled that we've got elected officials that came to this quick of a decision without doing any research with its citizens or its department.
Today, the council brought up the idea of the sheriff's department contracting positions for the old Varnell police officers. We asked the sheriff about that, but he said the city hadn't talked to him about that yet. Reporting for News Channel 9, Alana LaFleur.
The Varnell city attorney says he is still reviewing laws to find out if the vote was in line with Georgia's open records requirement. He also wants to see if it also goes with the city's charter and the state statute. To read the Georgia law that deals with open meetings, just go to this story on our website, newschannel9.com.
City fires their entire police department, chaos does not ensue. By Matt Agarist, July 14, 2017. Varnell, Georgia. The entire Varnell Police Department was fired this week and they will not be replaced with new cops. The police department was dissolved by the city council with a 3-to-1 vote and, contrary to popular fear-mongering, the town has not descended into chaos. On Tuesday, police officers returning from their patrols were told to hand in all their equipment and they were no longer employed. As the Times Free Press reports, Lieutenant Greg Fowler said he was told to spend the day collecting all of the police department's materials and locking them up in City Hall. The controversial decision by the city council to disband the department was sparked after the police chief, Lyle Grant, was suspended for arresting a city councilman in June. As the Times reports, advertisement. Elected officials wanted to know if he properly handled the case. Grant and Fowler went to the home of Councilman Shane Fowler, who is not related to the city's lieutenant. Shane Fowler's wife had complained that he was drunk and loud inside the house. According to a police report, Shane Fowler yelled at the officers and poked them in the chest. About 9 days later, an officer took out a warrant for his arrest. Grant said the long delay occurred for a couple reasons. First, he wanted an independent investigator to review the evidence, which really was just the officer's statements. Second, Grant said he brought the evidence to the mayor and other council members before deciding whether to charge Shane Fowler. Councilman David Owens felt this was an odd way to handle an investigation. This insanely unprofessional fiasco came to a head in an executive session meeting this week as the council reinstated Grant. However, moments later Councilman Jan Pourquoi made a motion to disband the police department immediately. Read more. Lost interview reveals Bush's plans to invade Iraq, 2 years before September 11. Just like that, the police department was no more. The Times spoke with a detective who came to turn in his equipment Tuesday morning, who said, "For a city to get rid of his police department is absolutely crazy." However, as the Free Thought Project has reported numerous times, the idea of a city firing all of its cops is not isolated and has never resulted in outbreaks of criminal behavior. The idea that police protect you is a misconception, as they will seldom prevent violence. They normally show up after the violence or crime has been committed and then try and find a culprit, or not. The average response time to a 911 call is 10 minutes nationwide. For poor areas, that time quadruples. In some cases, the dispatchers do not even take the caller seriously and the victim ends up dead when a crime could have actually been prevented. The reality is that police act as revenue collectors for the state and solely exist to enforce the law only. In a perfect world, police would show up prior to a crime and stop it, or at least during a crime, but this is simply not a reality. Police in America also do not protect and serve. If you doubt this claim, simply refer to Warren v. District of Columbia, in which the Supreme Court ruled that the police do not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm. Sure, Varnell, Georgia is a small town and the likelihood of a crime wave bursting onto the scenes is rare regardless of police presence. However, we've seen similar situations involving millions. At the end of 2014, for example, the NYPD stopped doing its job after the murder of officers Rafael Ramos and Wenjian Liu, and something amazing happened: crime went down. Read more. Officers kept piling parking tickets on man's windshield as he sat dead in his car for days. The Post reported that arrests were down 66% in the week following the deaths of officers Rafael Ramos and Wenjian Liu, compared to the same period in 2013. For certain offenses, the arrest levels are staggeringly low, according to the numbers put out by the Post. Citations for traffic violations fell by 94%, from 10,069 to 587, during that time frame. Summonses for low-level offenses like public drinking and urination also plunged 94%, from 4,831 to 300. Even parking violations are way down, dropping by 92%, from 14,699 to 1,241. Drug arrests by cops assigned to the NYPD's Organized Crime Control Bureau, which are part of the overall number, dropped by 84%, from 382 to 63. It wasn't a slowdown, it was a virtual work stoppage. And, in spite of police not writing tickets for jaywalking, arresting people for marijuana possession, and failing to wear their seat belts, the city of New York did not descend into chaos either. Update: the town's mayor has vetoed the decision to disband the police department. However, it is still worth mentioning that without police forces for several days, the town remained just fine. There was no looting, mass robberies, or crime sprees of any sort.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
wow.
been on a bike before,
Sheriff's getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.